everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Speakeasy, where we travel the world of whiskey looking for the perfect dram. I am your host, Joey, and this week we are going to be taking a look at a couple different bottles from Glenfiddich. This taster pack comes with the original 12-year, the 15 unique Solera Reserve, and the 18-year small batch Reserve. Before we begin, I invite you to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. Also, for your convenience, I put timestamps in the description down below, so then that way you can just jump directly to the nosing or the tasting if you want to, and you don't want to hear about the history of the bottle. So, let's go ahead and get into this. Glenfiddich, which means Valley of the Deer, was founded in 1886 by William Grant. He and his 9 kids built the distillery by hand, which took roughly around a year to make, and they were able to release their first whiskey on Christmas Day. Years later, something unique happened when the Prohibition in the 1920s hit. It halted many other distilleries all around the world, actually, from making whiskey, but William's grandson Grant had the idea of, instead of decreasing whiskey production, increase it in hopes that the law will change. What a great idea! Once the Prohibition was over, people then had a demand for whiskey, and they actually had enough of the product to sell. Later in the 1960s, the company got their iconic shaped bottle from the artist Hans Schlegel. He was the one who came up with the triangle shaped bottle. Glenfiddich has a big lineup, and it comes from all the way from their iconic 12-year and then all the way up to the highest sold single malt ever, a 55-year-old Scotch in honor of the last grandchild of William Grant. So prices range, and so does flavor. I'm excited to have this mini set so I can have a chance to try out their different expressions at different year lengths and processes. So this first bottle that we have is the 12-year. I already covered this in one of my advent calendars. I will leave the video link up here and also down below. This one was aged in American oak and European sherry casks. Then we also have the second bottle, which is the 15-year unique Solera Reserve. This one was aged in sherry and new oak casks. The Solera vat that this was put in is a large oak tub, and it is only emptied about halfway. Then they fill it again, and then they kind of repeat that process, which means that the vat still has never been emptied, and it probably has some of the original 15-year all the way back from 1998. That's pretty cool. So I'm excited to try this one out. Then there is the 18-year, which uses Oloroso and American oak. And each of their batch is carefully looked over until the time is right for bottling. They keep it small batch so that way the master distiller can look after the 150 casks. Any more could be difficult to maintain the standard that they want for the 18-year. It's a little hard not to compare them because these are not the same single malts that are aged over different periods of time. These are 3 very different expressions, and it will be up to you to decide which one will be your favorite. Remember, age does not always equal better. This depends on your palate and what you're looking for in flavor. I got this pack for around 50 bucks. They come in 200 milliliter bottles. Great value if you want to venture into a variety of expressions and years without having to have a full bottle to yourself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the first bottle. So we're going to go ahead and try out the 12-year here. If you have tried any of these, please let me know down in the comments below of what you thought about each of these expressions. So with the 12, let's go ahead and hop into it. So this is just classic, iconic single malt right here. So we're going to be getting very fruity, very bright, fresh notes here. I'm getting pear, apple, green apple, a bit of pie crust. This may sound weird, but it's like sawdust. It's probably like a mixture of sawdust, oak, but really bright. Oh, I love this smell. Little sweet here and there. It's like green apple and honey and pear. It's just a winner all around. Well, let's go into the tasting. Very well-rounded, not sharp on the tongue at all. It is very creamy. You kind of just get this creamy floral notes in the beginning, and then it eventually expands more into that fruity apple, pear, vanilla. But overall, it's a very nice, smooth dram, and it's going to be a great beginner for anybody who is wanting to venture out into Scotch. Love that one. So, next up, we are going to go ahead and go into the 15 year here. Yeah, 15. Let's go into the nosing. Oh, much different than the original 12. We're going to be dealing with more spiciness, more cinnamon. Not getting too much here, just mainly just a bit of that alcohol burn on the nose. And just like baking spices, cinnamon. That's just about it for this one though, but let's go ahead and try it. Ooh, okay. So this one is going to be that cinnamon, and that spice is really the dominant flavor there. This one I think is more subtle, really. I felt like that this one was just really bright and fresh, and I really enjoyed this one. This one, however, I'm just not getting a whole lot out of it. It's still got the creamy texture that this one does, but as far as flavors go, there isn't anything that stands out to me. There's nothing that really just like pops out besides the spiciness from the oak, from the cinnamon, but that's really it. I am getting some honey notes here and there. Not a whole lot though. A little bit on the fence on that one, but let's just put that one aside. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the 18 year. This one is a small batch. Let's go into the nosing. I'm getting a bit of ginger in this one. A little bit of a sweet toffee. Some dried fruits. Ugh, like an apricot. Got just a hint of like a dark fruit in there, like a plum. Sweet honey there. This one's nice too. Ooh, yeah. That one, I got like sourdough bread in that one. Weird. I know, but that was just what I ended up picking up. There's a bit of cinnamon spice on the palate, but not in the nose though. So that one was a little weird to me, but it was still quite nice. It's got a bit of like, a little bit of apple in that one too, but not as much as the 12 year. I'm getting like hints of bourbon in here. So it probably makes sense if they use bourbon casks to age this. Yeah, still very creamy. Like the one thing that I like about all of these is that there's like this certain creaminess to every single one of them, and that makes it it's so weird because most of the time when I try whiskey, it gives you this like stabbing on the tongue. But these ones though, that like this one had a little bit of that, but it was overall a very nice and pleasant ride for each one of them. But I'd probably say as far as flavors go, this was the one that actually had the most punch out of the three of these. So this is also another way to show that, you know, you don't have to have the oldest or the most expensive whiskey in order to have a really nice and tasty dram. So I'd probably say of my favorite, it's still going to be the 12 in this. So I mean, as far as my ranking system goes, I'm gonna go top, middle, and bottom shelf for each one of these. This one is going to be at a great value and great flavor, so I'm gonna say that this one's still gonna be on the middle shelf. This one, it's a little weird to me because I wasn't able to pick up a lot of flavors out of this one besides just the cinnamon, and cinnamon isn't necessarily my favorite. So this one, I'm gonna say like maybe middle bottom-ish shelf. But then this one is still very tasty, nice and creamy. This one, my personal palate picked up the sourdough in this, and I really like sourdough, so this one I'm gonna stay on the middle shelf for this one as well. But still, all of these are going to be fantastic drams, and I would recommend buying this set if you can find it, just so that you can find one that actually suits you, and then that way you can see if the age difference or the different expressions speak to you in any way. But if you guys have tried these, please let me know what was your favorite down in the comments below. But with that being said though, we are set for today, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Like, subscribe, do all those things. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.